All yours, sir. Please.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm in your home today, JD. It's such an honor to be here with you and the rest of the Ever2 crew. Um,
Well, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here. In our, it feels like Nickelodeon, maybe because like the colors, there's like the little live is kind of orange. I don't know. I'm getting Nickelodeon vibes from our background here today. But I am. What is this?
It's a Beethoven action figure. I thought it might kind of fit into the topic. Okay, I'll
A
stop now.
1000%. No, no, no. Well, no. Hey, listen. Thank you, everyone. We are live here today and super excited to be chatting today. And Louis, you got to tell me how to say your last name. I feel like I always say it wrong.
You say it perfectly, Diaz.
Diaz. Okay, Louis Diaz. Well, wonderful to have you here today. And just so not to butcher it, but you are the founder of the Donor Participation Project, as well as leading the annual giving efforts there at Muhlenberg College. Um, what else? What else do the people need to know about you that they don't already know?
I played in a mariachi when I was studying music. Um, I I don't know. I read tons of stuff that's not related to development and fundraising, but I
Now,
think those are
what
two important things.
what instrument did you play in the mariachi?
So I was, like their bass guitar. It's called a guitarrón. Okay, it's really
Okay.
big.
Yep. The big one. Yep.
Okay, that big thing. So that was it, and we had the whole uniform and everything. So it was actually, I don't know if it's fundraising, but we were playing for money. Um, and
Raising
people
funds for
would
yourself.
say,
That's okay.
yeah, exactly. And people would say, well, that, guy isn't Mexican. And, okay, I don't know what gave me off, but what gave me away. But
That's
we,
that's
we all,
uh that's exciting. I played in a band, but I was never brave enough to walk up to someone and just start playing. Where would you play? Your avenue or your
JD, talk about going off topic. We'd play on the street in Brussels. So I was in the conservatory in Brussels, which is kind of explains how everybody in advancement has this like crazy history, right? So I started out on the track to be a musician. So playing in Brussels on the street, going to the conservatory during the day, and in the afternoons and evenings, playing in the mariachi band.
I was going to say, I mean, what you're doing with Donor Participation Project is pretty exciting, but I don't know. I don't know anyone else who's played in a mariachi band. So, on the streets of Brussels. So, you are a busker in Brussels before participating with donors in this project. So, uh, that's wonderful. Well, today we just really wanted to kind of start the conversation between us because um, I wanted to talk about the amazing kind of multi-day conference of sorts or unconference that you're putting on. So do you want to kind of talk about what you're doing with the donor participation project right now?
Thanks so much, JD. Yes, I love that. And I do you mind if I ask folks that are here with us a question before I answer that?
Yes, of course, please.
Okay, so JD and I were talking before the show, and we'd love to know the last time, and you don't have to give a date, maybe just kind of explain, the situation, but the last time that you tried to do something that was professional development related, but either it was the budget didn't work, or it was kind of, maybe, I don't want to say weird, right? But it wasn't your typical training, and it was just a hard sell to do. And we'd love to hear if people have had those experiences.
Yeah, and like a
Um,
even a +1 or yes, that's been me, or this happened last week at 5:30 p.m. EST. You can do it whatever you'd like.
and to Kevin, who's in the chat, entertainment for the next case conference. I stopped playing gigs at like, in my advancement jobs a long time ago. It just muddied the waters so badly. It was very complicated. Um, but I think,
Now,
JD, tying that back to your question, that really we've discovered how in the donor participation project, which is a fundraising community that we started about a year and a half ago, how people have these incredible backgrounds. And I don't know if you all are seeing this like with your donor experience officers, but that there's so many people and there's so much talent out there that's not your typical, I started as a coordinator, I did my major gifts job, I got promoted, and now I'm the VP. There's just such a wide array of I mean, do you find things like that? Because we're seeing
a
that all
hundred
the time.
100%. Yeah, and I think one thing that's been interesting was our partners at Western Kentucky. They actually found there was a slew of students or just recent graduates that had all been working in operations at the arena. So within literal arena operations, and for whatever reason, they were able to translate their skills so immediately over because they I don't know, because they were able to juggle a whole bunch of different things at the same time. Uh, Very low ego coming in saying, "Hey, this is something I want to try out." So to your point, I think you can find there's talent in every nook and cranny. They don't have to have the ideal resume or have it say on the resume to make them good at things. And I think especially, I mean, so much of what you do, being able to connect with people and Deborah, I think I totally agree with you in the chat. Louis is always bringing his full self here. I think that's half the battle often when we're talking about donor related roles is how can you show up 100% as yourself, because that does definitely resonate and it translates to everything you do with donors.
And the value it unlocks. Okay, so I'm not going to mention names, but just right here in the chat today, okay, we have an executive director of an arts organization turned technology consultant. So just think of the perspectives that this person is going to bring to their advancement work. It's just so enriching, right? We have folks that have kind of side gigs and they're doing freelance work on the side, but think of how much that enriches the work itself in the day-to-day. So there's just so much value. And it's a little bit in the donor participation project, what we found, we just said, let's just get together with a real simple idea. We want to increase donor participation. We're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to get on a call every month and see where that takes us. I tell people the solution to this is going to come, probably from the margins. It's going to come from a tech vendor having, a cool idea. It's going to come from somebody in a smaller nonprofit kind of innovating and, discovering something. And that's what we're trying to bring together.
Well, I think I think to give you and the DPP even more credit. Those who seek are usually the ones that find. If you kind of sit back and wait for things to be done, then of course you're only going to see what's in front of you. But I think what y'all have done it so well is you're out there, you're interested, you're getting active, you're looking for better solutions. You're not just waiting for things to happen. So I think that certainly is a huge part of what has made what you all are doing, resonate so much in the community because you're trying to come up with better solutions. And I think as one of those, hopefully, one of those tech vendors that's here to help evolve and innovate with you, we're as interested, we're as obsessed with these problems as the practitioners. So it's always good to be able to kind of join forces.
Oh my goodness, JD. So I have it from really good sources that are even beyond just my personal experience, that you have a personal commitment to helping the sector as an ecosystem in and of itself. So I know that you have supported all types of initiatives and are really out there, and that it's kind of a truly heartfelt commitment. It's not just a marketing thing, but I know some of the things you all are doing, but I don't know all of them because I know you're investing pretty heavily in this. Could you give us an update?
100%. Yep. We do all sorts of things. So beyond just simply the day in, day out conversations that we have with our over 2,000 clients, whether that be on QBRs or just helping answer their questions or digging in. We have a survey going right now just to better understand, hey, how much do you know about all the things that EverTrue can do for you? We're just very obsessed with learning more and more about our partners. But on top of that, we're also doing things like maintaining our blogs, constantly sharing best practices, things that we're seeing our clients do, whether they're quantitative or qualitative. We want to know, what's the best subject line that leads to the most eyeballs, that has the most click to open rate, things of that nature. But we also are doing things like the Raise podcast. You were, I forget what number it was, but I think you were just over the 100 person mark. So you've been part of the podcast. We're obsessed with hearing the stories of oftentimes the meandering stories of how people got into advancement, but what they're doing now that they're here. EverTrue Studios, so much of multimedia, what you have pioneered and done such a great job with yourself, those are the same things that we're looking to do. So how can we continue to put out good video content like Tip Top Tuesdays for anyone that's familiar with. Every Tuesday, you'll see some tomorrow about here's some tips and tricks that are going on, to example videos, to walkthroughs, to I started a series called Thank View La La, which is just, hey, fun little things you can do with our platform. So we are
Oh, cool.
absolutely, again, obsessed with creating content and pulling in the different conversations that this audience is having.
That's so cool. So I look forward to catching up with all the other areas that you're investing to, to help the sector. And we're grateful for that.
Well, tell me
We're
more
also
about
grateful.
the
Yeah.
DPP. Tell me more about, like, again, what are you doing? You're very similarly. You're also doing a lot to support this audience.
Oh my goodness. So the donor participation project, it's a fundraiser community essentially. One of our rabbit holes, which started with a session that we were talking about the future of nonprofit conferences, and we went all serious with it. We started and we had a conversation with Jim Langley. Then we started a think tank. Then we had notes and we had a white paper. But eventually, like about January of this year, so just 3 months ago, we said, well, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just try to put on a conference that looks like all these ideas that we've been talking about? And that's what we're about to launch. And you guys, again, as I said, as part of your amazing commitment to the sector, you guys were behind us as really early supporters. A few others we've had just tremendous reception. One of our sessions has over, I think we're going to hit 600 soon, 600 RSVPs on LinkedIn.
Amazing.
And it's been absolutely great. So JD, do you give me permission to kind of announce what you made possible at the conference? Ta-da!
Yes, please.
Okay. So thanks to, we're going to be able to have full scholarships to the conference. It was already priced accessibly, but that's part of our ethos, and the DPP members that are here on the chat know that this was part of every conversation from the beginning. There's knowledge out there that people need to have. We want to be having these conversations as a sector. We want to be accessible. Things still need to have a cost, right? But thanks to JD, in the last few weeks, we've been able to figure out a way to offer full scholarships to anybody who wants to attend. So we hope to see many of you there, April 22.
Well, that's great. Yeah. So it gives a little credence to that leading question from before. When was the last time you wanted to learn more, but your upper management or whomever just wouldn't support it? I think that's a wonderful idea that you've had. We're more than happy to be able to support it, because I know you and the DPP steering committee have put a ton of great work into everything you're doing here. Look at this! Wow, this is the first time I'm using this restream. It is so professional.
It's
Crazy. And there you
amazing.
go. There's from Jamie Loeb. Yeah, it's definitely something that we want to be an advocate for, is education, wherever it may come from. We want to be supportive of it. So again, those who seek, we want to help you find, and we're just super excited to be both an active participant, but also being in the audience for a lot of the conversations y'all are having.
That's amazing. And you mentioned active participant, and that was also one of the big ideas behind this. We wanted to do a conference that was about innovation. We wanted everybody to contribute kind of authentically with practical tips, for better or for worse. And we all know why this happens, and it's for good causes, but sometimes advice that is shared at conferences is very like pie in the sky, it's very theoretical, or it's kind of or it kind of ignores everything that led up to it. A success is a success because of a whole lot of things, not just, well, we came and we did this and it was amazing. So part of it is, I understand, JD, and maybe you can share some of the details. You're going to be actually presenting in one of our lightning round sessions with a real, a really good practical tip that could unlock a ton of value for people, right?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be we're very excited to be part of the conversation around how can we help put innovation in the hands of fundraisers. And to your point, we want this to be in really practical ways. We don't, innovation always assumes like, oh, what's the new iPhone going to be? Like, yeah, sure, that's great, but the innovation can also be, how do we just use more parts of the buffalo? So what can we be doing, at Evertrue, now that Thank You and Evertrue are together, you know, personalized video and just utilizing video and storytelling, that's kind of at the heart of everything we do. So we're going to be going into some really simple practical tips about if you have content already created elsewhere. You probably have a great marketing or communications department that's cranking out amazing content to publish on YouTube. That's, YouTube content should very quickly be donor content. We should be able to use that, track that, uh, understand the engagement of that audience, and then be able to take some actions as advancement leaders to say, hey, if you're already interested in X, Y, and Z, we can meta tag that content, understand what you're interested in, and then make sure that we're reaching back out and following up with those donors. So, a lot of this is not, hey, you have to invest in a brand new software, you have to do this brand new thing. It's oftentimes it's just, what do you have right in front of you? How do we make more use of what you've already created?
That's so great. Well, I'm super excited to learn more about this, to have you join. I hope that everybody can learn about your products and take advantage of the scholarship. So I'm super grateful, JD. Hope we can do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Louis Diez. So there we go. I want to say Dietz for the longest time, but Diez. There you go. Any other closing little interesting tidbits about yourself that the audience should know? I feel like people are eating up the mariachi band comment. Anything else?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. Let's not make it all about mariachi. If you've played in a band, or folks that are here with us today, if you've played in a band, if you have some type of kind of parallel life, we'd love to hear about it, especially if it kind of informs your work. So I'll start, and maybe JD, you can go next. But I'm an economist. My dad was an economist. My dad's four brothers are economists. It was kind of like a family thing. I kind of, I'm the black sheep in that way. So I didn't go the academic route. So that's another dark secret.
Nice little dark secret there. I I don't have anything that it's just my route, my road to the advancement world is also kind of strange and littered with some strange projects. I actually got my start as a fake beard salesman, of all things. I started selling fake beards for Halloween, and that, the day I sold my first beard, I think changed my life. It sounds so silly, but I was like, wow, I can actually just come up with an idea and go do that. So fast forward, I started with one beard, then I had three different costumes, and then I had an entire costume company. I was learning the importing exporting business into China, and that led to an advertising agency, a fitness studio, and of course ThankView, which becomes part of Evertrue. It's been quite a wild ride, but I think very similar to the underpinning of what you're all about, DPP. It's just those who are hungry for learning new things. I think the best way to do something is just to jump in and start learning. Don't be too worried about what you don't know. And to Stephen in the comments, who asked, yeah, has there been exploration around encouraging conference participation to create actionable items thereafter? Absolutely. I know from, at least from my position as to what I'm going to be talking about, I want everything to be actionable. I love when I go to a conference or I hear a session and there's a bullet point, try this, try that, try that. Again, it may not all be applicable exactly as I say it to you, but absolutely. And I imagine, Louis, there's going to be other presenters that are going to be very much like, let's go home and try these things right away.
Oh my goodness. So we thought about exactly what Stephen is saying, and we worked on it for a long time. I'm just going to start at the end, which is the results. So we're going to have a session like yours. We're going to have a session with somebody talking about how to use LinkedIn to fundraise. So, super specific. We're going to have a session with somebody who automated handwritten thank you note cards from their president to their donors. Okay, so really interesting stuff, and people are going to open the veil and show what it is that they're doing. What Stephen is saying, we saw that happened in virtual conferences when you go to it and then you go home and they say, congratulations, you have 300 videos to watch. and you're
Yep.
like, oh my goodness, it's great, but I'm just never going to absorb this. So we purposefully kept it to 4 2-hour sessions over 4 weeks. So that was why we didn't do it all in one day, because we wanted people to have that chance to assimilate. After you do the conference, you are essentially a part of the donor participation project if you choose to participate, and that's a monthly meeting. And what happens at those meetings, that people keep talking about those issues and network and bring up questions and reach out to a colleague that they see, in our directory that's maybe working on something similar. So all that learning really keeps happening. That kind of super intensive approach that maybe we had to do before when we were all in person, maybe it's not, I don't want to say the best, right? But maybe there's a way to spread it out and have like learning and transformation happen at a more like human pace.
More, but bite size. Even 2 hours. To think 2 hours is being bite sized, but as compared to a 10-hour day, yeah, it becomes a lot more bite sized. No, I think you're right, and the few times I know vendors, again, we try to keep don't want to blur the line too much, but the few DPP conversations I've been invited to, it's amazing. I just love. There's just so much, so many thinkers out there and people that are willing to share the things they're learning, the things that aren't working. It's really great. So I think y'all are doing great things with that. Just continuing the conversation.
Well, yeah, thank you, JD. And we love having you. We love everybody that's here. If they want to check it out, and again, they can check out the conference at no cost. So thanks to your all support. So super grateful.
And when does it
I don't
start? When does the
I don't think we
conference
had any
start?
takers. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When did the conference start? When is the
Oh my goodness, April 22.
April
So it's
22?
4 Fridays, two-hour sessions, 4 Fridays. The URL is really easy. Join dpp.org/conference. Yes, I always forget about these details. I know one of our members posted it in the chat, but if you have questions, please don't show up in a mariachi suit. But
That'll be what you're doing, so that's good. Don't want to have two of those. That'd be awkward.
but we will be asking. So it's one of these, how sometimes you have you're on Zoom and like half the people have the cameras off, and are more like in listening mode. And while we do respect that, and we know that some people need to do that just because of situations they're in, we're encouraging everybody to be active participants. We have participants as far away as India, Mexico, of course, all the continental US. So it's truly going to be an international experience, and we're going to hopefully learn a whole lot from each other.
That's wonderful. Well, Louis, thank you, and thank you to the DPP. We are very excited to be able to sponsor you, to be able to sponsor those who want to attend. I look forward to speaking with the team, and I know Jason Shim is going to be leading our conversation. Got to meet him. What a wonderful fellow on May 6th.
Absolutely.
But
And
yeah.
Nina Das.
And Nina Das, yes. So, well, thank you again, Louis, for making all this happen, to the steering committee, and we're just really excited to continue these conversations around advancement and bringing more donors into the fold.
Awesome. Thanks for supporting the sector, JD. We appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you at the conference. And I don't know, do we go off?